My dad blatantly lied in front of everyone's face about how bad my childhood was. I was sitting at my uncle's house during our annual family reunion when my dad started telling stories about my childhood. He was laughing with my cousin, acting like we'd had this perfect sitcom life together. Remember when Ethan would throw tantrums and I'd have to carry him to his room? He said, grinning. Kid had lungs like a megaphone. Everyone laughed. I sat there frozen, my hands gripping the edge of my chair. My cousin turned to me with this warm smile. Was your dad really that patient with you? I opened my mouth to answer. Oh, he's just being dramatic. Dad cut in before I could speak. I was a great father. Ask anyone. My uncle nodded along immediately. Best dad I know. I tried again. Dad, that's not how it actually. He talked over me, louder this time. Ethan always had an overactive imagination, made up stories for attention. My aunt patted his shoulder sympathetically, like he was some martyr dealing with a difficult son. I pulled out my phone with shaking hand. Found the photo I'd saved years ago. This scar on my forearm, I said, holding it up. This is from when you threw a glass at me when I was 12. The room went completely quiet. Dad's face hardened instantly. That was an accident, he said flatly. You ran into the kitchen at the wrong time. I have the hospital report, I said. I pulled up the document and showed it to my cousin sitting next to me. Says injury consistent with thrown object, not accident. Dad stood up, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. You're embarrassing yourself, he said, voice rising. Making me look bad because you can't accept you were a difficult child. My uncle tried to step in. Hey, I cut him off. He locked me in the basement for 7 hours when I was 9 because I spilled juice. Dad laughed, but it sounded forced. That never happened. You're confusing memories. I stood up, hands still shaking but voice steady now. I recorded you last Thanksgiving. I pressed play on my phone. His voice came through the speaker, crystal clear. I should have been harder on you. You turned out soft because I went easy. Then his laugh. Should have used the belt more. Everyone was staring at him now. My aunt's face had gone completely pale. Dad's jaw clenched so tight I could see the muscle twitching. You recorded me? He said slowly. In my own house? You stood in front of 20 people and rewrote my entire childhood, I said. I turned to my uncle. He broke my wrist when I was 14. Told the doctor I fell off my bike. I pulled up another photo on my phone. The x-ray, clear as day, with medical notes in the corner. Patient hesitant to explain injury source. Dad didn't say anything. Just grabbed his jacket and stormed toward the door. He slammed it so hard behind him that a framed picture fell off the wall and shattered. My uncle followed him outside. I could hear them arguing through the window, voices muffled but clearly heated. When Uncle came back in 5 minutes later, he wouldn't look at Dad the same way. Nobody would. The rest of the reunion was silent. People left early, making excuses about traffic or early morning. My dad sat in his car in the driveway for 20 minutes before finally driving away. 2 weeks later, I blocked him on everything. Phone, social media, email, all of it. My uncle called me that same week. I believe you, he said quietly. I'm sorry I didn't see it before. I didn't respond. Just let him sit with that. My aunt sent a text a few days later. She'd gone through old family photos and noticed things she'd missed. My forced smiles. The way I flinched in pictures where Dad's hand was on my shoulder. How I was never standing close to him if I could help. My cousin reached out too. I always thought you were just shy, she wrote. Now I realize you were scared. Dad tried calling once from my mom's phone. I didn't answer. He left a voicemail. You humiliated me in front of everyone over things that happened years ago. He never apologized. Not once. Last month, my uncle hosted another family gathering. Dad wasn't invited. When I walked in, my aunt hugged me for a long time. You were right to speak up, she said. I sat in the same chair I'd sat in during that reunion. This time, nobody was rewriting